know, it's always a pleasure getting to see people. Anyways, I'm gonna do some stand-up tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But first, okay. Does anybody here have like a Subway sandwich? You do? Can I have that? Thank you.
Oh, lucky. Oh, somebody has Subway. So lucky.
Thank you. All right. Anyways, so what did cheese say? All right, when it was fed up, what did it say? Anybody know?
I'm full.
It said, said I'm gonna fucking kill someone.
Oh!
Yeah. Anyways, I recently came out as bisexual to my parents, which was a big deal for me, and they were very supportive. It seemed like they were proud, which made it equally difficult when I had to tell them that when I said bisexual, I meant I was buying like sexual favors from whores. So, thank you. Anyways, I'm surprised they didn't call the COVID-19 pandemic Cold War II. Any Cold War fans? Yeah, thank you. Anyways. Thank you. So, TikTok, right? Anybody here use that? Any TikTokers?
We're too old.
That's true. What I was going to say is that it's weird that, my generation is using TikTok 24/7, but they can't even read an analog clock. What's the deal with that? Anyway, speaking of clocks, daylight savings time is coming to an end here real soon, and usually people tell me, you gotta set your clocks back, but usually I set them on the wall, so. Anyways, you know about the guy who, removed like some of his ribs so he could suck his you-know-what? Yeah, well, I just feel like that's a lot of work. Can we fog off? Yeah, can that guy fog off? Anyways, he removed his ribs so he could suck his, and I just feel like that's a lot of effort. If I were to personally do something like that, I feel like it'd just be easier to suck someone else's dick. Speaking of dick, Dick Cheney, remember him? That guy? Yeah, well, what did he say when he saw ex-president George W. Bush take a bird from his hand, shove it into his asshole, and moments later pull out 2 birds? Okay, anybody? What did he say? Nobody? He said to George, George, what the hell are you doing? He was kind of upset with him about that.
You killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. Anyways, anybody here do shrooms? Any shroom users? Mushrooms? Okay, cool. I was looking into the research of like psilocybin treatment for PTSD, and there's some pretty conclusive evidence that there's much room for improvement.
Yeah.
That's one of yours.
There's this billionaire, right? He's not real, but pretend he is. His name is Andrew Turing, and he's got this butler with him. He follows him everywhere. He's been with him many, many years, right? So one day, Andrew Turing, his daughter's having a wedding, and he just, okay, we got to go to this wedding. So they get in the car, and Andrew says to the butler, hey, I'd like to drive tonight if you don't mind, because usually the butler drives. And so they're driving along, and Andrew makes a wrong turn. He goes down the wrong street, and the butler looks over at him and says, hey, sir, I think you, sir, I don't remember how that one goes, but that's okay. This next joke that you're gonna hate me after I finish it, okay? So there's this guy, he's an Irish gentleman, his name's Ifidanus Fixstone. It's kind of a weird name. But when he was a kid, he would watch The Simpsons, and he'd see Homer working in the power plant. He's like, man, I want to do that. So he goes to school, he gets a degree in engineering. And this American company calls him up, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna come work for you guys. And so he does. And he's working there long nights, many nights. And he's there by himself one night. And he's pressing buttons and, pulling levers like he usually does. And he pulls the lever, and it snaps right off. All right, now this is a problem. The entire city shuts down, power plant. And so the next day, everyone shows up, and old Ifidane is nowhere to be seen. So the manager comes in and is like, okay, who was working here last night? Nobody knows. So he goes to the security officer, room, and he looks at the cameras, and what do you know? He sees Ifidane, and he says, by golly, Ifidane fixed stone broke it. And we gotta fire that guy. So they did. Anyways, that's all I got. So.